Hello, everybody. I believe we are live. I am Scott Porteous, the founding father of the Comedy Workshop. I will not stop saying that until it becomes a thing. I don't have an ego, I promise. But thank you so much for tuning in on the Comedy Workshop. This is episode 324. Yes, that's correct. 324 of these ish have been made. We can't prove it, but it's a good assumption. We have enough videos on our group page. Anyways, thank you for joining. We have a great cast of comics tonight. Right now we might have three, but we have two for sure. I'm a little off right now. I'm a bit in pain. I got some tonsils issues, and I had a tooth extracted 2 days ago. So it's fun to talk. That's what I'm saying. But with that being said, let's introduce what the show is. So basically, everybody, I contacted different comics from different parts of the world, and I gave them a topic to write jokes about, 3 to 5 minutes. I gave them a week to write 3 to 5 minutes on. And they also have a set they want to do where we give them feedback. Oh, hang on a second. There we go. I see you, Rajesh. I will definitely add you in shortly. Give me a moment, please. So yes, we introduce topics 3 to 5 minutes, and then they get a second set, and we give them 3 to 5 minutes again, and we give feedback and suggestions and anything to really help improve or add to the joke. And it's been very, very successful. Also, this is a comedy open forum. By that I mean anything goes. I mean, we might say some things that are controversial, edgy, taboo. We're not trying to be offensive. We're just trying to work out jokes because this is a workshop, and the only way you can find out if something works is by doing it. So please keep that with an open mind. This is basically a place where an idea becomes a joke, becomes a bit, becomes a set, becomes a chunk, becomes a special. With that being said, let me introduce today's panel. So we have Wardie Leppan. Thank you for joining, Wardie.
Thank you.
Okay. We have Luke Logan. Thank you, Luke Logan, for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, sorry. We have Rajesh. Did I say that right, Rajesh?
Hi. How are you guys?
Really awesome.
Great to see.
Thank you for joining in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So what we're going to do, the lineup wise, I'll just make it how it appears on the screen. So I'll go first. We'll do myself, Wardie, Rajesh, and Luke. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Sure.
Awesome. Okay. So with that being said, one more thing also. Hang on a second. So I don't want to light anybody, but when they're at 4, I'll just do this on your screen. Just give you an idea. I'm not gonna cut you off or anything, but just gives an idea. If you get to 10, I might be like because I'm passive aggressive. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty chill. So I want to put the spotlight on me. I'll put the timer on. So my topic was Peter Pan. I'm dealing with some isolation quasies, so I might got a little dark on this one. So yeah, there we go. Peter Pan. So like, why are a lot of Disney movies have such a dark reality and undertone? Like, for starters, a lot of the protagonists' origin stories have to do with the death of a parent or parents, right? Like was Disney influenced by Batman? Like so many dead parents: Cinderella, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Bambi, Tarzan, Frozen, The Sword of the Stone, Finding Nemo, The Lion King, Aladdin, etc. Well, you assume, I mean, you may not see the deaths, but you assume because they don't show the parents. Like you can tell you can tell a good story that doesn't involve someone whose parents died and they ended up being a hero. It's you don't have to take the death of comics complex. Like, but Disney is like notorious for darker and racial undertones. Like, Peter Pan is extremely dark. For those of you who've never seen Peter Pan, it's pretty much about a kid who never grows up abducting children from their homes. So either Peter Pan is the world's youngest child abductor, or is the angel of death, which would explain why the children never grow up. Now they don't necessarily say that, but if that was based on reality, that's the conclusion that most people would take, I'm sure. Although Peter Pan sounds a lot better than Cropsy Pan. That's a deep cut. Like, it's such a dark movie. Like, what are you teaching kids? Never talk to strangers unless they're wearing a green leotard. So, like, not to make an easy joke, but there was also someone who took that movie too seriously and created a literal Neverland. And and that person's name was Epstein. Like, sure, Michael Jackson may have had Neverland Ranch, but Epstein made it an entire Disney World out of it, right? Like, that name sounds so cryptic as well. Neverland, so you'll never touch ground and be on an eternal flight. If that's not a metaphor for the afterlife, I'm not sure what is, right? And hospitals take inspiration from those concepts too. I mean, I suppose calling a children's cancer ward sounds more aesthetically pleasing to the ear instead of the Cave of Wonders, where doctors will give you candy, toys, and your reward, your eternal reward. And Robin Williams once played Peter Pan and was such a dedicated method actor that even after 30 years, even 30 years after the role, he made sure that he would never grow up. And that concludes the evil that is me. I told you I'm in a weird place lately. It was clean. It was just really dark at times. But thank you. That was it.
Great.
Bravo.
Anybody have any feedback, comments, criticisms, concerns?
I like the Epstein bit catching you off guard there. That was neat, sort of thing. And Robin Williams never growing up. That was
so dark.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you very much, Wardie. Rajesh or Luke, do you have anything you want to add or say?
Maybe a little later. Let's kind of ruminate on it a bit. Right.
I like the line. I thought there was something maybe you can do there with the whole Batman and Disney thing.
Right. The
like,
parents.
Yeah. You know, and like, what did Batman steal from Disney? Did Batman steal from Disney premises, or did Disney steal Batman?
Like, what came first? Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, like who stole from who and that kind of thing. I think that's a good premise to play on.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you know, Epstein jokes are great. Being in a green leotard, Epstein in a green leotard, I for some reason wrote down. Yeah, and I think if you're gonna like talk the kids' cancer wards names, I think you should just go all out with it. You know,
I held back. I was gonna say the elephant's graveyard. Like, that's just a little too dark.
That's not one you want to tip your toe into. I think you either jump into the deep end or you don't go at all. So I think it was, but it got my mind working too. You know, like the
right
and stuff like that, and like it is dark. It is very dark, but it's
Cave of Wonders. I want to make that like your eternal reward reference, just because I wanted to say that, because that's all Latin.
Well, it was interesting. It was a kid walked past. We were doing deliveries today, and a kid walked past that, you know, clearly was going through chemo, was bald, had no eyebrows and stuff. And the guy sitting next to me was like, "That's sad." And I was like, "Well, it's fucking sad now because you."
Yeah.
I thought it was actually a beautiful moment. Like, she's playing with her friend and doesn't care, right? But you brought it up as being sad. And then, Robin Williams suicide jokes. I feel like if anyone would appreciate a good joke, it would be Robin Williams. You know,
who was a comedian, or was, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think like I think there's lots in that dark that you can explore in that dark world, and like the Batman parents dying thing. I think with Disney, definitely, go a little deeper with that.
That's definitely more tamer than the entire set. Who knew that Batman dying parents would be the most tamest part of the set?
Yeah,
awesome.
That's what stood out to me. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Luke. Appreciate that. All right. Well, thank you guys for the feedback. I forgot to do one thing with my set. I forgot to do this, so people wouldn't understand why I was talking the harshest of things. So with that being said, Wardie, you had a topic of computer viruses. Whenever you're ready, you let me know, and I'll put the timer on, and then we'll get going.
Great, let's start. My poor mom would have really struggled with computer viruses. She even had a hard time figuring out how to turn on her computer. And she thought an iPad was some sort of technologically advanced sanitary product. I would have loved to have seen her go into an Apple store and ask whether iPads came with wings. Now, some people claim that antivirus software companies also create the viruses themselves. Now, though unlikely, if they did, I think they'd be following in the footsteps of the church, who first creates a problem by persuading us that we are all born sinful because Eve messed around with that snake or something, right? And then they say, but we have the solution. You got to come and grovel on your knees every Sunday and give lots of money to the church, and then maybe you'll get to go to heaven. Now, this is quite a profitable scam, right? Especially since it's very hard for us to go back to them later and say, there was no heaven, right? And talking of Eve chatting with that snake, though, Adam and Eve had kids, right? And their kids had kids. With whom? I was shocked and horrified to discover that we all descended from inbred morons. I thought that was just the preserve of royalty. And while on the subject of royalty, the Queen's cousin, who also happened to be her husband, kicked the bucket last week, right? Fun fact, after he died, the BBC received 110,000 complaints over too much Prince Philip coverage. I think there's hope for the UK yet. But sorry, I'm getting off topic. Back to computer viruses. Now, they're usually produced by absolute scumbags. Some are nasty little incel psychopaths wallowing in their parents' basements, doing it purely out of malicious spite, right? And others are producing ransomware or scamming the vulnerable out of their hard-earned savings, right? Sadly, scamming some people is really quite easy. There's this one IT specialist who ran this competition where he posted on the internet. All he said was, is your PC virus-free? Get it infected here. And you know what? 409 people actually responded. And I imagine one of my senile neighbor would have been one of those, right? COVID has got him so confused that when it comes to computer viruses, he thought wearing rubber gloves and wearing a mask would protect him, right? Now, like for comics, though, I think virus creators should punch up, not down. They should go after the big bad guys, not the little guys, right? So infect the computers of the Pentagon to promote all trans soldiers to colonel, right? Change the messages on politicians' teleprompters as they speak. That would be fun. So, for example, have Doug Ford, who's what do you call him? The Trump clone here in Ontario, right? Have him announce at the next COVID update that the government will legislate with immediate effect 10 days paid sick leave for every worker in the province, and minimum wage goes to $20 an hour, right? Play Robin Hood and transfer all Jeff Bezos' wealth equally amongst all these super exploited workers, right? And imagine the fun you could have with the alt-right websites. Anyone who access their sites who, given their white supremacist views, would suddenly have their computer screens freeze solid white. And I think this we could call the Trump virus. Thanks very much.
Good stuff. I'm hosting and producing, so bear with me here. Excellent job, Wardie. Oh god, it hurts to talk. Okay.
I battled with that.
What's that?
I battled finding something funny about that stuff.
Oh, so I found a few things. So it's I was hoping you make a tampon reference than you did with the iPad, but I feel like you can kind of go more into that with your mom being like naive
Oh, yeah.
about. So like I don't know why I put down like she uses a mouse as a douche kit. I hate to see what she does with an apple. Stuff like that, like kind of little play on words.
Yeah.
I wrote. You're talking about like the religion. I think almost like a pyramid scheme type thing. So I
Yeah.
wrote down. I couldn't word it, but I'll just say what the words are, and you can like maybe create the painting. So I put down pyramid scheme, religious Egyptian. Like the very first pyramid scheme was an Egyptian. It's a fucking bad play on words. I wrote down PC virus as in politically correct. That's a virus on its own. I love the idea of the rubber gloves. I think that's very funny. And I don't know if you knew this or not. This is
Sorry,
actually
PC virus. Sorry, what is that?
Like you start with PC like a computer, but you can make it like a misdirect to a political correctness.
Right,
Like
right.
how that's a virus. If you want to go that direction, of course. And I don't know if you know this or not, but I think it was Vancouver. The transit got hacked. Like there was adware in the transit like things where it says like your stop number or whatever. So I feel like that's something you can maybe address because like who's looking at porn in transit and then like you know what I mean, like you should whatever direction you want to go. But yeah, I couldn't think of too much to add, but yeah, it was good. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay, can I say something?
Sure.
Please.
Okay, I think if you add a bit about the pharmaceutical companies and the virus, like they release the virus and then they release the drugs, where you put in that bit about the
Yeah.
church and stuff like that. And the church
Right.
bit, sorry for saying this, but the church bit sounds a lot like George Carlin's bit about church and religion and stuff like that. So if you could kind of rephrase it a bit and stuff like that, that would go down really well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, George Carlin's got that bit where he says that God always wants money and he's always short of money and he keeps asking for money and stuff like that. And that church bit and all comes pretty close to that.
Makes it sound like he's like a teenager living in his parents' basement, like always wants money.
Yeah, that was good. But this thing about viruses works very good with pharmaceutical companies involved too. Like you could say they release the virus and then they give you the medicine for it. Like same
Right.
thing like
Yeah.
your computer viruses and stuff like that. That could go down. If you can develop that a bit, that could give you a couple of minutes at least for.
Sure. Thanks.
That's some great insight for sure. Did you have anything to add, Luke?
Yeah, I wrote down, just finishing a note here, finishing a joke. So yeah, just something about your mom. You said something about your mom not knowing about pads or what, like so getting a virus from your iPad. She maybe just thought that iPad or viruses came from iPads. Not that you get a virus in your iPad, but you would get, your iPad would you get a virus from it. I don't know. It's a bad joke.
Okay, I see you're going there.
Yeah, I just wrote it down. I didn't know. Together. I think you said something really good about churches and it just being they're ripping you off, but it's even if you do find out that it's a ripoff, it's hard to get your money back.
Yeah.
That's really good, because
Thanks.
you're obviously dead, right? So
Yeah.
if you're dead, you can't get your money back. So it's a pretty good little system that they have going. And then I wrote a joke just based on the words that you were saying. It said, I was shocked and disgusted that we came from inbreds.
Yeah.
That we all, I was shocked and disgusted we all came from inbreds. Well, maybe not shocked.
Yeah.
And maybe not, not so much disgusted, but turned on. It's just something, weird and gross in the joke.
It's a misdirect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great.
Thanks.
Good. Great feedback. If everybody's done, we can go to Rajesh.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, give me a second, Rajesh. Sorry, give me a second. I'm just going
Yeah.
to set it up for you, okay? Just because I like
Okay.
to have stuff ready so people are tuning in. They know what you're talking about, like why they're talking about Discovery Channel. There we go. Okay, so you have 3 to 5 to do the jokes on the Discovery Channel, and whenever you're ready, let me know.
Okay. I have a little bit of material. I'll go with that. See, when Discovery Channel started in 1985, it was mainly watched by guys who had broken up with their girlfriends, had no money to go out to a bar for drinks, and their porn subscription had expired. So they were hoping to get lucky, like watching a Discovery episode, you know, where maybe they might see some lions mating or zebras mating or something like that. They were hoping to get lucky with that stuff. I mean, that was their main reason for watching, right? And there's this. I watched one episode once, very long back. Not that I had broken up with anybody, but I just, out of curiosity, and I saw an episode where there was a praying mantis. You know, they showed the mating rituals of a praying mantis, and the female is a little bigger than the male, and she holds him in a tight grip. And while they're going at it, she's chewing up his brains. So by the time he's done, he's dead.
Yeah.
So that's what the praying mantis does. Okay. And our human species, the women are much, much smarter than a praying mantis, obviously. They don't chew up your brains at one go. They chew it a little bit at a time. So you keep providing for them for a long time. Okay. And that I think is the main reason why men die before women do. So yeah, now Discovery Channel has grown, and it focuses on like popular science, history, reality television, and pseudoscientific experiments. So it's still watched by guys, even after having grown so much, by guys who've broken up with their girlfriends and had no money to go out for drinks and stuff like that, in spite of its growth and stuff. So it initially started broadcasting between 3 p.m. and 3 a.m. when it started, right? Which reinforces the point that it's mainly watched by guys who have no money to go out for drinks and the rest of that stuff. So, yeah, going from there, their slogan says, entertain your brain. They need to check on their viewers' demographics because it's still watched by guys. Again, the whole story, okay? So, yeah, that's more or less it here. I just prepared a little bit, not a lot of material. So,
Okay. No, great stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you out the spotlight. Yeah, that was very, very, very funny.
hey, thanks.
I love the Discovery, pretty much like the nudie channels for like guys who were like pre-adolescent who couldn't watch porn, but like they needed something to like get hard on. So, Discovery Channel. I wrote down like you're talking about lions mating. They're lucky. I put down lions or tigers or bears. Oh my! I mean, I couldn't resist. I had to make a Wizard of Oz reference. The praying mantis thing. I love that because I love jokes that are based off like facts and that are truth, and I feel like the mantis, like she kills her partners. One day I was like, who's the mantis praying to? Like what god wants that? Like I think sacrifices.
Yeah, after this, thanks.
Yeah, and I love the women eating brains reference because that is so funny. Like it's a slow burn. Like with the mantis is a quick instant death. With the women, they're more torturous. They bide, they take their time, and they'll eat your brains and take half your shit. And then I just love the idea of like guys watching like these shows who break up with their girlfriend, but they're like just horny, but they'll catch whatever's on Discovery Channel. So it could be like hoarders or just some random thing that's not even sexy, but because it's on Discovery Channel, they'll try to make it sexy. Like, oh, she's addicted to eating couches. Oh, nice, or whatever show. Because there's some messed up shows on Discovery, but I didn't get too much to add to that. But yeah, very funny stuff. Thank you.
Thanks.
I had nothing to add. I just wanted to say that I really loved that bit about porn their porn
okay.
subscription. Their porn subscription. What do you call it?
Run out.
Ran out. Sorry, old
Okay.
age. I'm telling. I really thought that was great. I thought that was very funny, and I killed myself when you were talking about how our women are slowly eating our brains out, and that's why we die young. I thought that younger than they do. I thought that was a classic. That was just fantastic. So I don't have
Thanks a
any
lot.
tags to add, but I thought that I loved that bit.
Thanks a lot.
Luke, you have anything to add, buddy?
I liked, just the fact that the play that you had with the Discovery Channel's like the first softcore porn that people get into, and it's like it's kind of graduating from the Sears catalog because it's more visual for boys, right? So that was a good play. And then I just wrote as a joke because it's cool that the way that you set it up, how a praying mantis slowly eats the brain, like you can get kind of scientific and technical about how a praying mantis female mates with a male, and then as a tag you can say proving that praying mantises are more humane than human females.
No.
To the female audiences who are watching right now, Luke Logan's opinions are theirs of his own only. That's a funny concept, though. I do like that. Very.
I didn't prepare a lot because I was busy this whole week, so this is all I managed to get ready. Stuff like that. Next time I'll give you full 5 minutes.
Oh no, dude! I only did 3 minutes, so I mean I can't beat.
Okay.
For 3 to 5 is fine. Like it's just a guideline. It's not really, it's more of a comfort thing. Whatever it's just an exercise more than anything. But thank you. But yeah, great set. Luke, give me a second to set you up here. So here's a quick thing about Luke here. He filled in last minute. We had a cancellation, and Luke was kind enough to take the spot a few hours ago. So. With the topic of frisbees, we have Luke Logan. So whenever you're ready, Luke, let me know.
Well, let me just start out by saying that the story of the frisbee is as exciting as throwing them. Okay? Meaning that it's better than doing absolutely nothing. Frisbees are really boring. But it was invented by a guy named Walter Frederick Morrison and his wife Lucille, who were tossing a popcorn lid around after Thanksgiving in 1937. So Walter went on to join the Air Force, and he was shot down, and he became a POW, and he spent his time in a prison camp developing the frisbee. Not sleeping, not trying to get out, not using a frisbee to try to knock out a guard and kill a guard or send a message, but how am I gonna make money off of this thing was his whole deal. So once he got out of it, they went around, they called it the Pluto platter because it looked like a UFO, so they started marketing them as UFOs. And then he sold the rights to it to somebody, and that person went on to do something very boring with it as well. So actual ashes infused into a frisbee. So Walter was just getting thrown around his whole life. I'm just going to give you a bunch of fun facts about frisbees. Okay? So just, lock in here. There's a guy named Ken Westerfield who's apparently the greatest freestyle frisbee guy of all time. And his nickname is simply Legend. Like, you know how unbelievably good at frisbee you have to be to get the nickname legend? I don't know. I just went down a frisbee dream here. I don't know what else to tell you. Oh, well, there's plenty of amazing games that you can play. There's Beersby, which is where you put a bottle on a stick and try to knock it off with a frisbee, and you drink. There's Ultimate Frisbee, which is basically like football. Basically, they're just games invented by white people. They're, white people are like, how do I make this game more intense or get more drunk? And that's essentially what they do with frisbee. Let's see. It's kind of a last resort game when you have no other game outside to play. Like when you're done looking at it, let's just throw this thing around. They're frisbees are basically boomerangs for poor people. You throw it, and you gotta go and walk and get it. If you're playing by yourself, I normally play frisbee by myself. I don't have too many friends. So actually, my last thing, I got home the other day and there was a frisbee lying in my yard, and I got really mad, like old man mad. Not because there's a frisbee in my yard, but because I've become the creepy old man that when you've lost your frisbee in my yard, you've lost it forever. Like, kids are scared to come into my yard to get the frisbee. And I went on this big paranoid thing where I was like, do people think I'm like a psycho? Like, what the hell? Why can't just jump over my little tiny fence and grab your frisbee? But they won't. They're scared. And so now I think it's time for me to just accept the fact that I'm a creepy old weirdo. Because once someone loses a frisbee in your yard and they won't come and get it, that's it, man. So yeah, that's all I have about frisbees.
That's great.
Holy moly, that's a lot to talk about with frisbees. Good job. Seriously, that was. I thought that was funny, but I also have questions. Okay, I wrote like kind of like scatterbrained here. So I love the idea of like if you're homeless, anything could be a frisbee. And I used to as a kid, I used to play these games with I took an ice cream pail lid and I'm playing ninja. And it was for anything. Like if you can make an item out of everything, it can't be a sport. You know what I mean? Like you can't frisbee can. That's not fair. It shouldn't be a sport. But it's a stoner sport. I wrote that too. There's also frisbee golf, which is like the most ultimate boring hybrid. When you're talking about people, so they made frisbees in prison. Like I'm just picturing like the worst prison break ever. Like wow, like a Shawshank type thing. It's just using a frisbee to bang the fucking pipe when the thunder goes off. That's a deep cut. There's so much you can talk about with the frisbee prison. And I feel like you should kind of like talk about other sports that are just as exciting as frisbee, like hacky sack. Like I feel like you can kind of go into a web of things with that. And then I also put down ultimate frisbee is like hipster football. Like touch football is way more dangerous than ultimate frisbee.
Yeah, that's true.
And the question I asked is like, what did you do to instill fear in your neighborhood? Well, you had to do something. Like was there like a legend written about you? Like did you have an argument with somebody in public? Like how did you become the guy from the Sandlot if people were afraid to get the ball from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good. Sandlot.
Do you have a dog? Do you have a dog named Duke? Like what?
That's good. I feel like the people that get that reference will laugh really hard.
I make a lot of horrible movie niche jokes. So
early 90s kids references.
Yeah. That could be that's your audience. You're at that age, right?
Yeah,
yeah. There you go. Sandlot. Yeah, that's all I got, but fuck that was very impressive considering it was frisbees and it was very funny. Anybody else?
Yeah, I love the boring angle because that's clearly what it is, right? And the last resort game. I think there's so much more one could add about ultimate frisbee, which is so ridiculously boring. But I don't know enough about it. It just seems when you talked about it's a silly sport invented by white people. I think that's so true. But you call it the poor man's boomerang. I think it's because the boomerang. It's a boomerang that doesn't return, right? Is that what you meant? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just got that. That's funny. It's sad.
No, I think that was great.
I wanted to use boomerang because boomerang's just a funny word in general.
Yeah.
Like frisbee and boomerang together in the same sentence are good words, right? So there's got to be a joke there somewhere. That's why I wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah, but I think it's a boomerang that doesn't return. It's a useless boomerang. But that's great. Yeah. No, that was fun. I don't know how you pulled that together in such a short time.
Yeah, that was
impressive.
Yeah, that was good.
It's all my experience on the workshop.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
just gapping it up. Rajesh, did you have anything to add to that? Yes, please.
Okay, I think that bit where you spoke about the frisbee being invented in prison, you could expand that a bit. Like, whom was he practicing with? Was he practicing with the guards or other prisoners? What were the guards doing when he was perfecting the frisbee and stuff? That bit, a lot more can be you can have it in a few punchlines there. And the other bit about the boomerang and the frisbee, the boomerang was first invented as a hunting weapon, right? It went and knocked a small animal out and came back. The frisbee doesn't come back. It's like, yeah, maybe there's something there. I don't know.
There is something there, and it's like I can feel it. It's on the tip of my brain.
Right.
It doesn't come
This
back.
was good. This was good. This whole frisbee thing was pretty good.
Yeah.
To play off Rajesh, because that just gave me an idea, because how you figured it out, it was all by accident. Because what happened was during a prison riot, someone threw something at the guard, and it wasn't heavy at all; it was very light. And then all of a sudden, they're like, "This is fun," and they just started throwing it back at each other.
Yeah, as a game, yeah. Almost like Steve McQueen throwing that ball against the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
Ball, yeah. Right.
Does frisbees count as non-violent resistance?
Or maybe when they served him lunch or dinner in the camp, the food was so bad that he just threw his plate. Then got the idea that this can be developed further and stuff.
That's funny. I love that. That's very funny. Yeah, good stuff, everybody. Good set and great feedback. And now we are doing something relatively new. I have an ad because I don't have sponsors. No, I have an ad for a show that we do on Mondays. I'm just going to run it quickly, and after that, we'll go to our second sets, and we'll go from there. So 30 seconds. This is the Turbo Comedy every Monday. Well, the ad will tell you. Here we go.
This is The Workshop, and welcome to Turbo Comedy, where 8 comedians from the workshop compete to see who can write the best short set in the short time. We then vote to send our favorite comedian to the final round. Comedians will have to work quickly to put together comedy bits, as each comedian only has 1 hour to write about a randomly assigned topic. They then have to perform their 3-minute set for the group. Once everyone's performed, we'll all vote online for our favorite comic. At the end of the tournament, we'll crown a winner, and whoever has the most votes will win a whopping $20. Get ready, it's time for Turbo Comedy.
Oh, I love that ad. It's so badass. Jester made that, and I'm so proud of it.
I could hear the voice. I was like, this sounds like Jester.
Yeah. Jester's a badass, talented dude. And if you guys like Jester, talented guy, he's a host every Wednesday at the workshop, unless he doesn't. But normally he does. Yeah, Turbo Comedy. That's almost done. It's only got 2-minute episodes, and then we have a winner. With that being said, let's do the second round, what I call dealer's choice. And by that, it's pretty much material we'd want to work on. So I'll start again. This one, it's based off, I was trying to write cleaner. Made a post earlier about trying to write clean and stuff. So it's still a little dark, but it's clean. So here we go. This is my set. This is my Corona set, because everybody has a Corona set. So why should I be any different? So here we go. Hey, remember when we thought 2017 was a horrible year with all the celebrity deaths, school shootings, terrorist attacks, and the election bloopers? And then 2020 was like, hold my beer. I'm just saying, at least with 2017, I can get run over outside of the house. Okay, like I'm just saying, at least with 2017, I only wore a mask on Halloween or when I was insecure. Okay, like I'm just saying, at least with 2017, celebrities had the option of dying from an overdose or suicide. Okay, I'm just saying, at least with 2017, I didn't have to wash my hands unless I went number 2. Okay, I still do, though, out of respect. I'm just saying, at least with 2017, I wasn't shunned for having intercourse without the glory hole. Okay, but I'm starting to feel like I may be responsible for all of the misfortunes of the world, because at the end of 2016, when Trump got elected, I shortly dated someone far beyond my league. Okay, unfortunately, we didn't even last a full term. Okay, like the next big misfortune is that I pitched my very first show idea to Netflix. Okay, the next big misfortune is a week after I was born, the USSR tested a nuclear launch. Okay, now I'm not saying I'm Ashton Kutcher in the butterfly effect, but I am saying when things go well for me, they go terrible for everyone else. Okay, which is the reason why it's impossible for me to be happy from a historical, moral, and scientific standpoint. Okay, I'm really just too good of a person to be happy. Okay, now I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure every time I have an orgasm, an angel loses its wings. Okay, like I never have cars often, except in times of tragedy, because every time I drive, something tragic will happen to someone else because I'm not the best driver. Now, there is a damn good reason I don't try to get my own place, and that's to save a life. Also because I'm unemployed. Now, my chronic depression may just be the thing that's keeping you all alive, which is okay because every hero needs a nemesis, and mine is the noose. So you're welcome. It's because I care that I don't care. But I mean, in the terms of social life, this pandemic hasn't really affected it in the slightest. Like, I'm incredibly antisocial. I was social distancing way before social distancing was even regulated. Okay, if anything, it's helped me meet other antisocial folk. Like, I met more people from the comfort of someone else's home, because I don't have my own place, than I have in my entire life. Like, the amount of friends that I made might even be able to match the COVID outbreak cases in a small town. Okay, that's how many people I met. Like, this is such a weird time we are living now. Like, we are actually going to be a part of history. We are living in history, or the pre-narrative of The Walking Dead. Which, if the case, I need to befriend the sheriff quickly. Like, hey, is there a reason you're going 150 in a 70 zone? I'm looking for a friend. You add your number to the ticket, officer. But I try to be optimistic, though. I do, and find the positive side of a global pandemic. Okay, like, for starters, I found a newfound respect and appreciation for Anne Frank. Because I can't even commit to writing a blog for a week, never mind 2 years. Okay, like, I'd be too afraid of posting it too, because I know there's a group of grammar Nazis out there just waiting to take me to the spell check republic. So that concludes my set with the pun. Thank you. Oh, I didn't put the spotlight on again, did I? Damn it! I keep doing that. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I love that comparing 2017 with 2020, and the wearing of a mask and washing hands and glory holes and all that sort of stuff. When you said the angel loses its, when you have an orgasm, an angel loses its wings, you could add something about how very few angels have actually lost their wings.
Well, because like, it's a masturbation thing too, right? So, like, that could also inflect that, like, I'm lonely and whatever, right?
Yeah.
Whenever I have sex
sorry.
and loses wings, maybe I should have sex, but that would make a difference.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry. I didn't get.
No worries.
And The Walking Dead was fun bit, yeah, for sure. No, I enjoyed that.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay, but that bit where you said when every time I have an orgasm, an angel loses its wings. It doesn't have to be about masturbation. You could just add, and then she wants to get married. So that might give it a bit of a punch.
Well, the thing with that line is because it's talking about how like I can't be happy. Because when I'm happy, other people suffer. That's why I'm trying to like.
Yeah, this makes you more unhappy. Like you just had an orgasm with her, and now she wants to marry you. So
now she's pregnant. Oh, okay.
I mean, you develop it.
That's funny. I see what you're saying. Okay. Right. Yeah. Thank you.
I think if you're gonna go self-deprecating with it, where it's like every time I have an orgasm, an angel loses wings. I wrote every time I have an orgasm, she doesn't. Something just playing, but like the cadence was really good. The way you just kind of kept rolling with it was really good. I like the cadence. The one that I clued in on or did in was like every hero needs a nemesis. And this is where you kind of got depressing with it. So like, every hero has a nemesis, and mine is hugs. Or every hero has a nemesis, or every hero needs a nemesis. Mine is a phone call. And then I was just writing things about like how Anne Frank would be super annoying now. Like Anne Frank would have, Anne Frank would have like a blog, like her own podcast, and she would, have like an Instagram thing, like, with positive quotes on it, like, things like that. How people are just so like, I think COVID's made people just so over everything, we're like, oh God, fucking more content from everybody, right? So it's a funny concept to think about now, how someone like Anne Frank would be, like, oh yeah, well, Anne Frank, right? But I mean,
hashtag avoiding. Sorry,
it's so ridiculous to even to think about, because her story's so amazing. But I'm digging myself out of a hole by just keep talking. But it's like, that's a funny concept in the fact that nowadays she would have a podcast, she would have
social media presence.
Like she would have social media presence, all that kind of stuff. So
what should be like the worst hiding? If you have a social media hashtag avoiding Adolf.
Yeah, there's lots of ways you can go with it now, right? So.
Right. That's too funny. Yeah, thank you, everybody. That was great feedback. Now this time I'm not going to forget to do the spotlight because it's not me. So Wardie, whatever you guys are working on, let me know and I'll put the timer on.
I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, one of the few benefits of doing this online is that my mom can come to the show. Poor thing doesn't get out very much at all these days, and as you can see, she's seriously into downsizing. Now, interestingly, this was all her idea, right? In the past, when I used to invite her to my shows, she always used to say, "Over my dead body am I going?" So, but talking of this sort of thing, I get really annoyed at people calling COVID the boomer remover. Now, this boomer is not keen on getting removed anytime soon. And nor do I want to be responsible for anybody else's removal, right? So I wash my hands, I cough into my elbow, I wear a mask, I do that whole distancing thing, right? However, recent studies have shown that the virus can be transmitted via fecal matter. Now, given that, like sneezing and coughing, flatulence is a well-known aerosol-generating procedure, I have a problem. I have a problem because I find it really hard to fart into my elbow. I think I'm probably going to have to wear Depends or something, right? And when anti-maskers hear about this study, I think they're probably going to refuse to wear pants in public or something, right? But one other small benefit of the COVID lockdown has been that my appointments with my doctor have been over the phone. I recently had my annual general checkup the other day, and it went quite well. The only awkward part was when I had to do my own prostate exam, right? And for some reason, my wife refused to help. Anyway, but the previous year's exam was far more eventful because my quack decided to send me off for a cystoscopy. Now, if ever your doctor sends you off for a procedure that ends in scopy, it's not going to be fun because someone's going to take a probe with a little camera on the end and stick it up, down, or through one of your orifices. For those of you who aren't yet 50, let me tell you, you've got a colonoscopy to look forward to. And let me tell you, this feels like a doctor has taken a hamster and stuck a little GoPro on its head and stuck it up your exhaust pipe, right? And before doing that, your colon has to be squeaky clean. So what they do is they give you these powerful laxatives to take 1 or 2 days beforehand. I spent an entire day sitting on the loo spray painting. I was doing a fecal Jackson Pollock, right? I used up all the toilet paper in the house. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Back to the cystoscopy. A cystoscopy is not to look into your colon, but into your bladder. Now you can imagine which orifice they decided to go in to access it, right? So on getting to the hospital, I had to put on one of those baby blue backless gowns, right? And hop onto the examination table and put my feet in the stirrups, right? And then this young nurse comes along and she's coming along to clean my nether region, should we say. Now, what made this even more uncomfortable and embarrassing is that my daughter is also a nurse in the same hospital. And that nurse happened to be a good friend of hers. And so we just pretended we didn't recognize each other. Then along comes a doctor and he gets on one of those little wheelie chairs, right? And he scoots over to my crotch and he explains how he's going to insert the probe. And he says, now don't worry, it's very, very thin. You'll only feel a little bit of discomfort as it passes through the prostate. He lied. It was thick as a bloody pencil, right? Now, then this all led to an operation on my prostate and my bladder. A rather awkward procedure, but a wonderful side effect. A dry orgasm. No goo, no mess to clean up ever again. Now, I think that's something many women would appreciate, right? But for my wife and myself now, we now no longer squabble over who gets to sleep on the wet spot because someone didn't do her Kegels, and our household consumption of Kleenex has gone way down. Thank you very much, folks.
Oh man. Okay, so I thought I was dark. Your opening line that was so funny. Thanks for I don't want to call that prop comedy because that was a person at one point.
That's the I've never seen prop comedy taken to that level.
The times I've done it in a show in a club, I've then said, "Oh, my mom's really shy, and do you mind if she sits with you?" And then I put the urn on somebody else's table.
That's great. That's so funny. I love that idea. So I wrote a couple of things. I put down, is it weird that I feel like there are worse things to catch from fecal matter than COVID? Because you mentioned that earlier, like, well, I think I'd get COVID than fucking some other fecal issues like VRE or whatever, or C. diff. Sorry. When it comes to checking my prostate, I'm an amateur. I'm so sorry. I couldn't resist that one. We're talking about. I know. I see Luke's disappointment. So
I love him.
Okay. I was going to talk about how luckily I'd cut my fingernails that morning, but I'm running out of time.
Dark and dirty. But clean, surprisingly. You made your spray paint joke. I don't know how you would do it, but like I would personally love it if you had like some sort of Banksy joke about when you shit. You make like these political statements with your shit. I know it's a weird graphic and visual, but I just like the unorthodox. But yeah, that's good
Well,
stuff.
that's where Jackson Pollock comes in his art. You know, a fecal Jackson Pollock. I don't know if you've seen Jackson Pollock,
No.
but his art is merely just sprayed paint all over the place. It's just spots of paint all over the place. It just throws it all over, and that's his thing, and he's very famous for it. So it's a rather obscure reference.
I feel but if someone gets that, I feel like you can say, I have a bowl that's full of Jackson Pollock art. But yeah, that's all I got. Very funny stuff, Wardie.
Thanks.
Rajesh, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think that bit of yours I liked a lot, where you say that it's like it's for people who are above 50.
Yeah.
Your procedure.
Right.
So I think there's something there. Yeah. So I think there's something there. You could say it's only for the big guys, not for the kids growing up. And this is what helps you mature a bit. I mean, before that, you're just a kid. Once you go through this, you know what's what.
Yeah.
So that's one. And the other thing would be like when you saw the nurse coming in and she was really good looking, maybe you started getting a hard on right away or something like that. I don't know. In spite of the fact that you're going to go through that procedure. I mean, it's involuntary. It's not something you do deliberately. So
develop a
then
complex.
They had to calm you down with something or whatever. I don't know.
That's funny.
I think it'd be a funny concept or a funny bit if you started talking to your mom on stage. You know, like if you played up this kind of like weird psycho kind of thing, you know, where you brought your mom around with you in an urn and you just talked to her randomly. And, you know, you could even have her like heckling people in the audience or things like that. I think there's, you know, I think it's like kind of one of those things that I'm sure when you've done it on stage before, you can't really get away from it. I mean, you've just brought your mother and her on stage. It's probably tough to segue into anything else after you've done that. So, but I thought it was great. I think it's a great bit. Very ballsy, very, very uncomfortable, but funny. Like, it reminded me a lot of my dad. When my father died, I remember thinking that where we were buying his urn and just laughing out loud about how he was like, you know, in my ear saying, "Put me in a fucking Tim Hortons can and get this over with. Are you kidding me? How much does that shit cost? Like, you're gonna spend what?" Like, that's all I could think about. So yeah, it was you know, it brought back some funny memories, and I think it's a funny concept, you know. Death always makes me laugh because it's so uncomfortable. And it makes people uncomfortable, and when people are uncomfortable, it's easy to make them laugh.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of ways. There's ways to go there.
It was a very interesting set. It was a very interesting set. Like, it's got lots of this thing.
Yeah, when people are uneasy, it's easy to break that. You know, then it makes every joke like they want to laugh. They want you to make a joke of it. They want, you know, it's an uncomfortable situation. It's great. It's cool. I think there's a lot of stuff you could do. I wouldn't ever say, you know, I'd hate it for your mother's urn to become a gimmick, but
yeah,
smoke them if you got them.
Yeah, I have.
Sorry, I didn't.
I have asked. I have done a little bit of that talking to her. When I say I talk a lot about retirement and say it's not all just fun. Ask mom. just a quickie like that.
Yeah,
And at the end, I say, please, and please, a big cheer for Mom. She really earned it. That sort of thing.
Yeah,
I
callback
don't,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't do much with it. But funny enough, I got this from a comic who works in a crematorium.
Okay.
And these things cost $300, but this one was slightly scratched, so he got it for me for free. But otherwise, I'd never have been able to do this.
like a dented tomato can.
Well, I first started off with a shoebox, which is what my mom had my dad in, and then I got this, which is much more recognizable.
That's too funny.
That's so good.
Right.
I love that.
Thanks.
Great stuff. All right. So Rajesh, I hope I said your name right. My palate's a little.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay, good.
I know you're calling me, so that's
okay. Well, I know, but first of all, my tonsils are swollen and my tooth got extracted, so it's hard for me it hurts a little bit to talk. So I'm glad I'm saying your name right. So whenever you're ready, let me know and we'll put the timer on and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'm ready to go right now.
Okay.
Okay. So right from the time we were growing up, we've heard that an apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? Tell you to eat apples. And the first apple was eaten by the first man and woman, Adam and Eve, and they got thrown out of the Garden of Eden. So does that mean that God was a doctor? He was just a doctor and nothing more than that? So, when we were growing up, we had just one general physician we had to go to no matter what the ailment was. He would examine us, tell us to open our mouth, stick out our tongue and stuff like that, give us some tablets and tell us, remember, young man, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Now we've grown up and there are now so many different kinds of doctors. Like you have neurologists, you have ENT specialists, you have heart specialists, you have nephrologists, you have pediatricians, you have orthopedics. So the point is, like, how many apples do we need to eat to keep so many doctors away now? Is that why the apple prices are going up? I mean, 10, 15 apples a day, man. Come on. Can we afford that? I don't know. So I'm married to a doctor. My wife is a doctor. And from a few months, I've been taking apples home every day. Right? Now there are so many apples in my house. My whole house is filled with apples. There are apples in the kitchen. There are apples in the dining room. There are apples in the bedrooms. There are apples in the wardrobes in the bedrooms. I even have apples in the commode in my bathroom. Like the house is filled with apples. Just making us stronger, man. Just getting stronger and stronger. And recently, one of our cousins, who is also a doctor, has moved in. So when your childhood myths are broken, it breaks your heart. It hurts you really, really, really hurts you. Sad to know that apples don't work anymore. Yeah, that's my bit that I'm working on right now.
Oh,
Great.
Everybody, good job.
Yeah.
I really love the. Hang on, I'll put Jake off the spotlight. I really enjoy the Adam and Eve reference. That is so. I never heard that the spin on the apple day kind of thing. So that's a really unique dynamic to it. I put down an apple a day will make the sinner stay. I man, it was so. I can't add too much to it because it was really good, but like. I feel like it's just apples to keep doctors like what other fruits like what other purposes do other fruits have for things like that, like remedies. And then I put down a Mr. X I have apples in the toilet, which is upsets my wife, just like the computer in there. You know what I mean? Like Apple, yeah. But I can't think of too much to say because I was just really lacked the pun, but crisp. It was crisp like an apple.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Wardie. I'm trying to find where my note is. I enjoyed that, and this gathering more apples was I sense that the idea behind that was you were trying to get rid of your wife. Was that the point?
Kind of hinting at that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was I don't know how you can make it a little bit more obvious, but I got the sense that that's what the whole joke was about. You try to get the apples to get rid of your wife, who's a doctor, and it didn't. It really didn't work. And in fact, her cousin came in, who's also a doctor, which clearly showed that the apples had no effect on getting rid of doctors. Keeping doctors away. But I got where you were going with it. It just wasn't, to me. It was sometimes, it was a little bit too subtle, I think. I don't know, but
Okay.
I love the concept. I really love the idea of getting rid of the doctors who happen to live in your house. Bringing on the apples.
Right.
I may be wrong about that being too subtle, but I'm not sure.
No, I can make it a little more obvious. I can add a couple of sentences and do something.
Yeah.
Sorry, I might have missed
Yeah,
something.
thanks.
Isn't it an apple a day keeps the dentist away?
No, doctor away.
I thought it was that's why I'm still sick. I was gonna say, like, for like a tag for your Rajesh, as say for example, like, I was thinking something like, whenever my wife gets angry, I pick crab apples, like crabby, yeah, stuff like that. That's what I wanted to add to that. Luke, do you have anything to add?
Well, you said I thought there was more of a play on fruit that you could do with it. So like, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. A pineapple a week keeps the baby batter sweet.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
Something like that. Yeah, like you could play a lot with the fruit stuff. You could play a lot with the rhymes, I think.
Right.
Throw in a
Right.
couple of bits just to kind of keep the bit light, and keep it moving, right? But yeah,
Right.
like,
Yeah, I just thought of one more point to which I could add to this set. I mean, maybe it depends on which apple keeps the doctor away. Like there are different varieties of apples. Maybe I'm using the wrong variety or something, just to end it with or something, or make it, or do something with that there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this fruit bit, adding more fruits to it would give me a longer set and make it a lot more fun. So that's a good point to kind of.
Yeah, there's a lot
Work
of
on.
versatility, with a lot of variety and versatility with other fruits for sure.
Yep. We could use that.
Awesome, good stuff.
Right.
Gesundheit.
Thanks. Sorry about that.
Delayed response, but I got you. Good job, Rajesh and Luke. Did you have some material that you wanted to work on?
you bet. Well, I kind of find it interesting how whiskey's become, super hipster now. Like it's like, oh, it's aged 12 years in an oak barrel, and then it's aged for 5 more years and blessed in a cherry barrel, and then it's blessed by the Pope. Sometimes I just like some Alberta Premium. Sometimes like I like whiskey that will make a penny shine. It's like Alberta Premium's tagline is now 89% pretty sure you won't go blind. A lot of like Scotch, they'll be like, this is the good stuff. With Alberta Premium, it's like, take it easy with this stuff. Okay. It's whiskey, but it's also gas for your lawnmower. I always said that you can tell the age of a man by how far away he is from the urinal. Because kids will like hide basically inside of a urinal, but like 50-year-old men will stand like 5 feet away from it and like kind of take it. Sometimes at hockey games, they'll ask you if you want to touch a mole for $5. That's only happened once or twice to me, though. Now I realize it's because of like your enlarged prostate. In order to get like a good steady stream, you've basically got to do a curtsy or like, do a back and like curve your leg to the side just to get a nice stream going. That's all because of the prostate. They used to say, no matter how much you wiggle, no matter how much you dance, the last little drop ends up in your pants. But when your prostate's bigger, it's no matter how much you shimmy, no matter how much you shake. Oh shit, honey, I pissed the bed again. You know how like cats will basically put their buttholes like right in your face? I figured out that I'm like, they're so good at cleaning their entire bodies. It must drive them crazy that that's the one spot that they can't clean. So I'm thinking that they just are kind of showing it to you like, hey, buddy, can you get this for me? Can you just help me out here? It's like the one spot that they can't get. So I turned 40 this week, which was pretty cool. Turning 40 is about as sexy as AM radio. People give me that look like, yeah, you'll do. I've noticed that kids are getting a little bit softer now, like hockey moms. They can squat more than their sons can. And that's probably because they're carrying their equipment. I got a job over COVID. I'm installing fitness equipment in people's houses, and this hockey mom asked me as I'm installing her functional trainer downstairs in her basement. She was like, "I really need help on this is for my son. He needs help getting stronger for hockey." And I said, "Well, you know what will help with that?" And she goes, "What?" And I was like, "How about carrying a functional trainer into a basement and installing it?" That'll do. How about carrying weights in an awkward position down a flight of frickin' stairs? Nah, I just want to lift them in linear movements repetitively. That'll do the job for me, right? I'm installing a lot of treadmills in people's basements because apparently people look at hamsters and think they're happy. Drinking water out of a tube and sleeping in wood chips. That looks like amazing amounts of fun. My next door neighbors, this is actually really depressing. My next door neighbors have surround sound. Like surround sound. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Is this 2009? Are you having people over to watch Avatar? Avatar was so freaking good, we actually forgot about H1N1 at the time. I would like to go back to 2009, actually, when we weren't asking comedians about their political opinions, or they weren't giving them to us. It wasn't like I was sitting there thinking, you know who I really want to hear talk about feminism? Jerry Seinfeld. Anyways, that's all I have for bits.
Wow, that's great.
That
was great.
I am producing and hosting. So this is hard. Okay. Okay, so you're talking about the whiskey, the hipster whiskey. I was like, all I got to think of was like, how could you make whiskey ironic? Like, just make it rum. Like,
yeah.
Because I think of the hipsters, they always just the irony of things. So that was like, fuck. I love the concept though. It's very funny. I loved your urinal age joke, and then it kind of hit a soft spot. It's like, oh fuck, I'm at that age. I'm like, I thought it was just me. I thought I had a problem, but I guess it's a thing that happens as you get older. You just don't stop peeing. The more you know. Okay. I love the cat ass and stuff, but that's funny because that's something that a lot of people with cat owners can relate to. Sorry, I didn't add too much because I just enjoyed it more so than I was trying to find things to add to it. You said, okay, so you said, I feel like there's a joke possibility there. Sexy as AM radio. I feel like there's a joke there. Like, all I can think of at the time. Well, no, but like another joke. Like it's a joke, but like another tag to it. Like sexy as AM radio, sexy as AM radio. Like ever since I turned 40, he would keep trying to get me to use shit or something like that. Like stuff that he would use AM radio for, like make the reference.
Yeah, like I'm good at talking about the weather.
Yeah, something like that.
Or droning on about sports.
Yeah, or conspiracy theories, because that's why kids avoid going to your house for frisbees. One more thing. You said, I love your line because hamsters look happy. And I was thinking, like, that's such a great premise because, like, they're called guinea pigs. And what else? He would use guinea pigs as experiments. So I feel like that line, like that title alone, should say a lot about how hamsters feel. But yeah, that's all I got, and good stuff. Anybody else to add?
I just loved it, and the whiskey bit, the cat bit. The cat was just wonderful, and sexy as AM radio. I think is a classic, and the hamsters and everything. And when you talked about age, when you first said how far you can tell the age of a person, a man, from how far they are from the toilet, I first thought you meant how close they have to keep to a toilet during the day because of bladder control. And then I realized you were talking about how close they have to get in order to not dribble on the floor, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know whether you could add one of that in about being.
That is a bit actually a bit I've been working on since, like, I took that bit with me on stage for like the very first time. So I've been working on that bit forever. It just keeps coming back. So I'm glad you guys.
Great premise.
Yeah. I have a whole. I mean, tying into my operation, I have a whole bit about how, as teenagers, we used to have this competition to see who could pee up a tree, the furthest up a tree. And once I hit retirement age, the jet stream of my youth had turned into this pathetic trickle. So much so I couldn't. I'd be hard pressed just to hit the tree, and if I aimed upwards, I'd end up dribbling on my shoes. So there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with aging and peeing, sort of thing there.
Or you went from hitting trees to planting seeds.
But yeah, I think I loved it. I thought there was so many good bits in there.
Rajesh, you have anything?
Yeah, there's lots of good stuff there. There's huge amount of good stuff. And if you want to expand it a bit, in the basement part, you could talk about the odd things you've seen in the basement, the funny things you've seen in the basement that people have. I mean, like maybe you found a stack of magazines, Playboy magazines, or anything like that. I mean, if you want to expand it a bit. But overall, it was good. It was pretty entertaining.
Thank you.
Like all that was pretty true about the older you are, the closer you are to the toilet and all that. So a lot of stuff was true. So that made it good. That made it really good. If you want to expand a couple of minutes, then like when you're installing the stuff, the things you saw in the basement or found there or whatever, I mean, you could add a lot of stuff there if you want to.
Awesome.
So
For sure. Personalize it definitely always helps because it's your life.
Right.
Yeah. Good set. Great feedback, everybody.
Yeah, I love the hamsters. Oh my god, I love the hamsters.
It was good. That overall was pretty good.
Today, and like, hamsters are hilarious. I've got to do it about hamsters.
Absolutely.
That's such a metaphor. It could be a metaphor too,
okay,
right?
Just one question for you guys. Can you understand everything I'm saying with my accent and stuff like that, or is it a problem?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You sound better than me, Rajesh. Trust me. I mumble like crazy. You sound clear as day.
And my accent too. We've all got accents.
No, it's clear. Your accent's pretty clear. No problem at all.
I'll admit sometimes I can't hear it through accents, but yeah, you got I no problems at all. Not at all. It was very clear. Yeah. This was a lot of fun, and thank you. Rajesh is your first time here, so thank you, and hope you had a great time. Before we
I did.
Wonderful. Well, before we depart, we promote. We do shameless self-promoting. So anything that we're working on, we share with whoever's watching or listening, and then then we go our separate ways. So with that being said, Wardie, do you have anything you wanted to promote or share? Or?
No, unfortunately, we're locked down and nothing to do or share about, Fred, sadly. But
okay.
Right.
The only thing he wants to spread is his ashes. Okay, and sorry, I couldn't resist. Rajesh, did you have anything, social media or anything like that?
I would love if whoever can would follow me on Instagram. It's like Raj_comedy on Instagram, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's just Rajesh Hinduja.
I am doing that right now.
Okay. I'll follow you
and-
guys back.
Oh, that's polite.
Right.
And Luke, I know you're a hustle guy. You got a lot of things going on. What's going on now?
I've been putting a lot of my comedy stuff on TikTok. I find there's quite a few comedians on there, and it's like a fun platform to use. So you can follow me on lukelogan.comedian on TikTok. Long ass handle, I know, but I don't know. I liked it. And we've been every other weekend. We do the Comedy Dojo Sunday nights. I know it kind of goes with against the workshop or whatever.
No, dude. Just promote your shit.
You can find you can actually see the past stuff on Twitch. It's not mine. It's another Edmonton comedians thing, but they all heckle each other on it. So if you're feeling kind of like heckling, you can go there. They're younger kids, so they can take it. But they're Comedy Dojo. They sometimes do Friday nights, and then they'll sometimes do Sunday nights. So it's find them on Twitch. You can find the past shows on there. So that's a kind of a plug for them because I'm not really doing anything right now.
Okay.
For me, okay. Yeah, go for it. Go for it, Scott.
No, I want to go last. So go ahead, Rajesh. What do you guys say?
Okay, what I was trying to say was that when it's 10 o'clock in the night for you, it's 7:30 in the morning for me. So I have to get up really early and get ready and then come and sit down. Yeah.
Definitely appreciate you being here in that early of the day.
I'm trying to do this more often and stuff like that. Let me do this more often.
Oh yeah, well, we have a lineup, a list of names we go through, cycle through, but we also do posts every now and then, pretty much almost every day. Looking for comics, someone dropped out, comic spot available. In the group page, you'll see posts constantly to the point where it's almost spammy. But yeah, we're always looking for comics by all means, and definitely will add you to the list. And Luke, I want to address anything. If you guys have shows or anything that are like, we're not like, I don't want to come off as like, no, only my show can be it's all to be promoted. The only thing is I can't promote your show like during my show. That's the only thing I meant to say earlier. I hope there's no hard feelings or anything.
Not at all. As it came out of my mouth, I was like, Sunday night at 8. I was like, oh shit, the workshop's also
That's
on.
fine. People have. They're allowed to watch other. I'm not Scott McMahon. They're allowed to watch other things. It's not like a wrestling territory thing. That's a deep cut, by the way. I'm a wrestling fan. It's fine. Whatever you guys want to watch. But I got to promote my shit. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with that being said, promoting my shit. So we have the workshop every day, 10 p.m. EST. You recently saw a Turbo Comedy. That's only got 2 more episodes left for season 1. Then we'll launch another season shortly later. That's going to be up Monday at 8 p.m. EST. And recently we just started doing the podcast because I have a lot of episodes to work around with. So we launch episodes every Friday, 8 a.m. 8 p.m. 8 a.m. Mountain. I don't know what it is for you. It's going to be available on all major podcasting platforms at the Comedy Workshop. And thank you so much, you all. And I'm definitely going to have you back, Rajesh. Just keep paying attention to our groups, and we'll be posting for comments. And I'll put you on our list as well. But you all, great. It's really fun. We hope you had a great time. I hope you learned. I hope you laughed. Hope you loved. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I feel like I'm not Ellen. Anyways, you guys who watch, thank you so much for tuning in on the workshop. The pain is going away, but not really. With my tonsils, but I had a good time, and look forward to the next time. Then we'll be doing this again tomorrow at 10 p.m. EST with me or somebody else, depending if I can find a host or not. Anyways, it'll be on. Have a good night. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
See you guys. Bye. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.